And now, let the lore begin.
After the return of the Jedi, the galaxy was consumed in darkness. From the farthest reaches of wild space, the lost tribes of the ancient Sith emerged to reclaim their destiny long forgotten, to rule the galaxy as gods. Their legends are the tales of the Sith.
The Sith homeworld of Korriban entered galactic history following the 100-year darkness, a fracture of unity within the Jedi Order. In the beginning, the desert world hosted many species that battled for planetary dominance. The planet was ravaged by wars between the Killik, Rakata, an infamous Sith species until the Sith King Adis unified his kingdom and forced all other races off the planet. With no one to contest their dominance, the Sith ruled over Korriban with impunity until the arrival of the exiled Dark Jedi. Their overwhelming power with the dark side allowed them to subjugate the Sith with ease. While dominance in battle was widely respected amongst the Sith species, the magnitude of power the Dark Jedi exhibited compelled the Sith to worship them as gods. For generations, the Dark Jedi ruled Korriban, interbreeding with the native Sith until no distinction could be made. As time passed, Sith descendants learned and practiced the dark side of the Force until the evolved species became a powerful empire. However, this power bred division, and Sith factions once again battled for dominance. With the Sith Order divided by rivalry, civil wars erupted and scorched Korriban's surface. After the Great Hyperspace War, internal conflict continued, and Korriban experienced a period of abandonment. Most Sith leaders either exiled or dead. Korriban's native inhabitants scattered to the wind. Korriban became a desolate wasteland for many years until the Great Galactic War began a new age of prosperity under our resurgent Sith Empire. Eventually, the Sith resorted to infighting again and were defeated. The constant division among the Sith led to the rise of Darth Bane, who condensed the Sith teachings and eradicated all Sith but one master and one apprentice. This became known as the Rule of Two. Believing the Sith to be decimated, the Galactic Republic recognized the once war-torn planet of Korriban as Moraband, attempting to erase the historical atrocities of the Sith Empire. Due to the planet's location in the Outer Rim, lack of resources, and no advantage to inhabit, the planet was lost to history. Without any common knowledge of Korriban, it was scarcely traveled during the era of the Galactic Empire, save for one, Darth Sidious, who proclaimed himself the true Sith Emperor under Darth Bane's Rule of Two. Without the Sith species present to contest Sidious's claim, he believed himself to be the most powerful Sith across the galaxy. During the widespread interbreeding between Dark Jedi and native Sith, a small but proud sect of Sith warriors separated themselves from the mainstream affairs of the Empire. They believed in keeping the Sith isolated from external conflict. When the Sith were exiled from Korriban after the Great Hyperspace War, the sect traveled beyond the reaches of wild space and inhabited a world home to a species of wild, devilish beasts. Wanting to maintain their pure Sith blood, they abstained from interbreeding, but soon faced the threat of extinction. To continue their race, they began procreating with the indigenous beast of their new home and evolved into an extremely powerful hybrid species. As the sect expanded into numerous tribes, they forgot of their ancient home world and the wars that ousted them from their home. Living in isolation, they were unaffected from the onslaught of Darth Bane's Rule of Two and subsequent Sith heirs. For thousands of years, the lost tribes of the Sith neglected their ancient call to war and conquest until the ascension of Darth Seraph, the last Sith of pure blood. He recovered the forgotten histories of the Sith and the evil Jedi that stripped them of their homeland. For almost 1,000 years, he shared these stories across the tribes, claiming that they must not forsake their legacy. Under a reinvigorated influence of the old teachings from their ancestors, the tribes united under Seraph's rule. He decided the time of isolation was over. The Sith would return. In secret, the lost tribes re-inhabited Korriban and rebuilt the old temples. To elude Darth Sidious, Seraph concealed the Sith presence on Korriban while the Empire slowly crumbled at the hands of the Rebel Alliance. Seraph would not risk open war so soon. First, he must build his own empire, one so powerful nothing could stand in its way. War was coming, and Korriban would rise to prominence once again. And this time, the Jedi could not stop it.